unless you're in your late 80s, in your 90s, we've never seen times like this. And it's a little troubling, depending on how you frame it, depending on how you look at it. But reality is reality. We can do all the positive thinking and affirmations and remain optimistic as much as we want, but reality is reality. It's perilous times. But does business stop? Does everything come to a halt in your own personal life? For those of us who are in sales, at home sales, high ticket sales, um, outside sales, a lot of things are still rolling. Not as efficiently, proficiently, and not the same as before, but things are still rolling. With that said, you have to approach things with a different level of sensitivity when you're making these sales calls. Cold call, which is what I do begrudgingly, but as a business owner that hasn't broken through certain barriers and certain thresholds, you still have to put in that guerrilla warfare tactic of cold calling. So how do you, especially in times like this, a lot of businesses realize that marketing more than ever is super important. So savvy business owners are actually um, cutting costs where they can, but ramping up their marketing. So if you're in the business of selling marketing and digital marketing like myself, how do you frame that? What does that look like? Um, a lot of it is really just rapport building and then resuming business as usual, sticking to the principles of asking questions and um, using strategic pauses, which is a lot of what I do. I'm not the most quick witted and they can pull out phrases and things like that. A lot of what I do with selling is simply controlling the pace, letting them talk, asking questions, and then framing it into asking for the sale, assuming the sale. Now, in this particular call, I did eventually close this client, and I don't have a recording of that. Yeah, so this is a cold call that I just want you to take a listen to and notice a few things that I was very intentional and nuanced on in order to take this client from a cold call all the way to, it started with a cold email, cold call, invitation to call them, and then eventually closing them.
Hi, this is Brian.
Brian, this is me. This is Anthony Washington. Yeah, so
Oh, great. Anyways, you were going to offer me something.
yeah. Well, the reason why I was just calling, I was just, I don't make I really don't make random calls. I was just kind of looking at your Google listing, and I was just seeing if there's any interest in improving that listing.
What exactly is it that you offer?
I manage Google Ads basically, and I just see, I see you have good reviews. Your website is not bad. We do all of that, but I just, I do see some areas for opportunity. You don't exactly show up as the first. You're ranking pretty good, and I'm pretty sure you probably get good referrals and everything. So this is not for everybody, but if you're interested in, you know, improving your online presence, I can definitely
I
help
get
you.
calls every day, Mr. Anthony. Please be specific. What will you do for me?
It depends on exactly what you need. I mean, I have to do more discovery on, what exactly that you need. I manage online listings as far as your reviews, as far as the actual ads, your social media ads, make sure your website is optimized. If you're running Google ads, we can optimize those. You should be about 20% as far as what you're paying, and as far as do you have like an ROI or like an equation for each customer? Like I'm paying this much and expect to get this much back. I mean, do you really think about your marketing in that aspect?
Notice how, without being condescending or smart alecky, I'm probing to see what their level of knowledge is on the subject of digital marketing and the online world. Notice how I'm probing, but again, I'm not being belittling, or I am not being condescending. And at the same time, you'll notice what this is doing is this is positioning me as the expert in this situation. Listen up.
It's a rough sum, and believe you me, I'm not going to be paying much taxes this year because I'm paying out more money than what I'm getting. So that's one good thing about it, meaning that I would like more, how would you say, more back than what I'm giving, basically. And I'll just tell you right now, the problem is, even though I'm on the top of Google, I'm like the 10th company that was a person would call, like the very last company, and I asked them why, and they told me it was my reviews. They got really concerned that for some strange reason, Google put a moving company and they combined our reviews together. I don't know anything about that, and I only have 2 Google reviews, and that's it. That actually belong to my company. So I don't know how in the world you're going to help me out with that, other than just calling up my customers and just finding the key words and trying to get them to write something for me.
I mean, have you thought about actually implementing a system for reviews?
Well, Google already has a system. The Google Local Services, every time I close out a ticket, they send an automatic generated email asking them to go ahead and write a review.
Have you ever seen that email?
Yeah, they show it to me every time I close the ticket.
It's very easy to overlook, for one thing, that particular email. They do it for everybody. Google is not in the business of managing your ads. They set up the infrastructure, but they're not in the business of helping you. You understand what I mean by that? So there are other companies that actually have a person in place to manage those ads, manage that process of getting the reviews, manage that process of responding to reviews. So there's a process to that's where you're looking for your ROI. So that's
really all I need help with, because I'm already on the top of Google, so I don't really need help with some people. What they do is they generate these key search words and it gets you on the top. With Google Local Services, I'm already on the top, so we can go ahead and scratch that. I don't need that at all. So the only thing I really need is a company that can help me get more reviews. What specifically will your company do?
Keep in mind, sales is as much psychology, your psychology, as well as their psychology, as much of anything. It's about what I've learned that works for me is really centering myself and keeping myself calm, keeping myself in a even keel state, to where I really approach a sales call as I'm just having a conversation and presenting an opportunity, and I really, truly, in my heart, am not hung up on getting that sale. I'm not a shark in the traditional sense of I have to close this sale right now. And again, like I said, I eventually closed the guy later on, a couple of weeks later. Just take a listen.
Well, honestly, Brian, that's more of a technical question. I'm actually on the front end. I have a team that does this. So I'm on the front line of I could get more technical with you. I know as far as the keywords, I know as far as the optimization, there's backlinks. There is actually getting the directory. There's a whole process of actually getting the directory listing correct in the first place, so that you may receive reviews from Facebook. You can receive reviews from many different sources.
So many different platforms.
So many platforms that you want to consolidate. There's a way to automate everything so that it's consolidated into one place. Everything shows up in Google.
Have you ever heard of birdeye.com?
I have not.
Birdeye called me up and they offered me a very similar deal. They said on their website they have a way of consolidating all the platforms reviews and putting them on one page. So
Mm-hmm.
when people Google like Sherlock Holmes reviews, Bird Eye website will actually show up near the top, and people just click on it and they'll see Yelp reviews, Google reviews, Google Map reviews, etc. Do you
Right.
offer something similar?
Yes, sir.
So you actually have a website that will consolidate the reviews. What's the name of this website?
No, it's not a website. It's actually it's something that you have to program, automation. So
Well,
it's
people are going to click on something. They're going to be sent to a page where all these reviews will be put together on one page. That page has to have a website address.
it could be your website address.
Oh, so you will consolidate all of my reviews and just put them on my website with direct links like here's his Yelp reviews, here's his Nextdoor.com reviews.
Correct.
Type of deal?
Correct.
Well, I have GoDaddy.com, and they have a very strict, how would you say, you can't just have an engineer work on GoDaddy. Everything's so simplified where it's just a copy and paste, and it either works with their engine or it doesn't.
How open are you to moving your website off of GoDaddy? That would be my first suggestion. I don't work with GoDaddy. I work with just I use GoDaddy to buy my URLs, or my domains, and that's it. Not for their hosting.
It all depends on where I'm at with my business and what you would have to offer if I move in that direction.
Of course.
Because it's going to start the whole process all over again. I built my website all by myself from ground up.
Awesome.
So I was able to do that because GoDaddy.com doesn't require you to be a computer website engineer.
Right.
A commoner like me can actually go off and just start the business and do something like that. Now, do I plan on staying with GoDaddy for the rest of my life? Probably not. But what you're talking about, that's a pretty big bridge to cross. I just got to make sure I'm ready.
Okay. Fair enough.
So what is the name of your company? Or who are you representing?
I have a team behind me who actually does the fulfillment. Just to give you a little background, I used to do every single thing in the business by myself, but obviously that's not how you scale a business. So I have a team behind me. It's called easylocal.com.
Easy or city local?
Easy. E is in Edward, Z is in zebra, local.com.
Yeah, I use something, a similar company to them as well.
And so
how much money are we looking at? What's your cheapest package? Just give me a number.
I hate throwing out numbers, but fair enough to be fair with you, Brian. You'd be looking at, for just a basic listing, about $200 a month, $189 a month. Basic, that'd be for your basic listing management, for the reviews, and then to get more technical on the consolidation front for your website. That would be even more. You'd probably be looking at maybe, for like a $1,000 setup fee, and maybe monthly about $300 or $400 a month. Those are rough estimates. I mean, I'd have to sit down with you and really, we could, carve out 30 minutes of your time, and I could really, answer every single question that you want face to face. You meet me, see if you even like me. You might not even like me, what I have to offer. When would you like to set up an appointment?
So right now, I will just let you know I don't like wasting a salesperson's time. There won't be a commitment in the near future, but there is a small tad bit of interest to find out what exactly your company has to offer. Could you send me an email that will send me a link where I can just investigate you a little bit more?
I'll send it to you right away.
Not an internal no. It's just a no for right now, but something might open up in the future, and I do want to keep you in mind, though.
Perfect. I appreciate your time, Brian. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Now you'll notice how I handled that. I've never been the shark attack salesperson. I've always been all about giving the right information, creating a connection, positioning myself as an expert, and then kind of letting the chips fall where they may. I did eventually close this gentleman just 2 weeks later. He ended up spending a couple of $1,000s with us. So, all in all, it was a success. Cold calling is not easy. It's not going to get any easier in this particular cycle of where the market is and where we are just in our society. But it's a necessary evil. It's something that I have to discipline myself as an entrepreneur to stay in that guerrilla marketing warfare tactic mind frame, because that's going to be more important than ever. Offline strategies and being able to create real connections that you would like to lead to relationships and to long lasting repeat business and referrals.